All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lasting Learning Podcast. Today, I am already having a blast. I'm hanging out with my new friend here, and we're just giggling like crazy behind the scenes. I can't wait to introduce her to all of you. Some of you may have heard of her before. If not, I guarantee she's going to be a celebrity in your mind really, really soon. She's known to many as the scholarship doctor. She is out there changing destinies, changing lives, changing generations, changing the trajectory of kids and adults' lives. She is out there finding money for people so that they can get the education they need to change anything and everything about their current situation. Today, I've got my new friend, Rhea Watson on. Rhea, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, how are you? I'm so happy to be here, Dave. This is like kid in a candy store excitement.
Well, the people that are listening right now have no idea some of the logistics that we had to pull off to make this happen. So I am just glad that we get to finally connect and share your story, share your mission and your vision and all the things that you do with all of our listeners. So do you mind real quick before we start diving into the stuff that you do and how you change lives? Can you kind of introduce yourself to people? I called you the scholarship doctor.
You
Some people
did.
that don't know you might not know why in the world I came up with that title. I didn't come up with it, but who are you and what are you about?
Thank you so much, Dave. So I am Rhea, the scholarship doctor with Scholarship Solutions, where we are blessed, privileged, and pleased to help all scholars. And Dave, everyone's a scholar, okay? From ages 0 to 99, from the womb to the tomb, from birth to death, to have a debt free college experience. So,
Mm.
AKA, I heal the student loan debt and the tapping into your everyday pockets and savings and all of those things. We heal that through the scholarship process. And that's why I'm called the scholarship doctor.
All right, so I'm going to take a pause real quick, and I'm going to do something that's
Okay.
super personal, something I don't normally do. My niece, Madison. Madison, if you're listening to this one and you're like, I don't know if this is an episode I need to listen to, Madison, stop whatever you're doing and listen because
Hey,
this
Madison.
conversation focuses on a conversation that we just had recently talking about
Ooh.
college, if it's necessary, how's it going to be paid for, what loans do I need to take out, how much debt should I incur to go get a college degree. Yeah. And you're speaking my language, which is why we're having this conversation right now. So I'm hoping that you can speak some life and wisdom into her mind before we're done today. But before we do that, I told you earlier, I'm a big believer that people buy into people before they buy into processes and products and all of those sorts of things.
Yes, sir.
What is your story?
Yeah.
Why is this your life's mission? Can you talk to us about your college experience? I know there's information about you online. People can go find
Yeah.
and they can do their due diligence. But tell us real quick, what was college like for you?
Thank you for that. So I turned really my mission into a business, right? And it came from being a first generation college student. For those of you who don't know, that means neither my mom nor my dad went to college, more specifically, graduated from college. And some people don't know, especially in the US. I think we have listeners everywhere, but in the US, the definition of a first generation college student is someone whose, again, parents, either side, who did not earn a 4 year degree. So if your mom or dad has like a 2 year degree, you could still be counted as a first year college student. Again, this is US. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but in the US. So either way, I'm first gen. My mom nor dad went to college. Your first gen, Day.
I am. I am.
We rock. First generation college students rock. My dad actually was functionally illiterate. I say was because he's been in heaven celebrating for about 5 years now.
Mm.
But my dad was actually functionally illiterate, so he could not read or write, dropped out of high school in his junior year just because of the trauma, honestly, of going through the school system when he did. My mom both of them actually just bright, amazing, incredible people. But my mom never wanted to leave my dad. So she never wanted him to feel like he was left behind. So she decided not to pursue a college degree. So that I was it. I was the first. I'm the eldest in my family between my sister and me. And so it was all about Riri going to college. And one thing that we knew with my very amazing parents is there were these things called scholarships. Now, we didn't know all the ins and outs of it. We didn't know what I am privileged to teach people, that you don't have to wait till senior year. But I became that girl, Dave. I was a girl in my neighborhood. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. And I was in Vegas where all of my friends were actually heading to be cocktail waitresses, showgirls, and or valets, right? And I was heading to college because mama and daddy said, you're going to college. No one else has done this before, Reese, so this is your time. And we're going to help you do that and do that through scholarships. And so my mom and I would go to the library. We would get those big books and have a notebook and a pen, right? And write out all these different types of scholarships. And so that's what I did. I would apply. And in doing so I won tons of money to go to school. I actually did really well in school. God blessed me in that way. I'm a graduated valedictorian of my high school. So I had received 5 full ride offers outside of just merit-based scholarships, what we call them. And so it was incredible to have all these opportunities. Now, again, I didn't have a scholarship doctor. I had amazing parents, but not too many people around me who had ever been educated. So no one was speaking into my life saying, hey, Ree, you have 5 full ride offers, take them and run, right? They were more saying, you have this dream school, you got in, they gave you a lot of money to go do that. Well, what I found out way too late or quickly, either one, Dave, is that I got all this money to go to my dream school, which God blessed me to get in, and all this money from outside of that, but I still had this thing called a gap.
Mm.
And so with my parents saying reassign, and with financial aid officers saying reassign, I had just turned 18. I graduated high school when I was 17, just turned 18. I found out that I had signed for student loans, had no idea what that meant. And my dream school actually ended up being a nightmare. So I wanted to transfer.
Mm.
So I said, hey guys, I'm transferring. I'm going to another school. And they said, oh, well, that'll be great, but you owe us this money. And I was like, I owe you what money? I owe you money. I had scholarships. What are you talking about? I found out again that I did, but this gap that I didn't understand about was filled with student loans at the school. When I sat in that big auditorium and told me to sign, and my parents excitedly told me to sign. I was devastated, to say the least. I thought, what am I going to do? These folks do not want to give me my transcript. It was a hot mess. I did end up attending a school, a historically Black college and university in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, called Morris Brown
Mm.
College. And at Morris Brown, I met my mentor. She's 78 years old, still lives in downtown Atlanta, and loves me to life. I send her everything every time I can, Dave. She is so fantastic. But she taught me about going to college literally debt free. She said, hey, Ree, there's this program that I think you're going to be eligible for. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And she said, actually, it's a grant that I wrote. Again, I'm new and 20 and not quite sure. And I'm listening though. And she said, this grant that I wrote gives little brown girls, because I'm a brown girl, little brown boys and little brown girls like you, the opportunity to travel, have technology, pay for your college education, room and board, and they'll actually pay you $1,000 a month to go to school.
Hmm.
$1,000 a month to go to school. And I was like, what are you talking about? It was such a foreign language to me. But she said, yeah, this is possible. I think you'll win and you should apply. And I'm still trying to tap her brain and understand this because I knew I had earned all of these scholarships to go to school. But she was telling me not only was that possible, I never had to look at another loan again, and that someone was going to write me a check every month to go to school. So I'm trying to, just understand this, synthesize and think it through. And so I just told her, I said, I call her Mama Jeannie now. She was Dr. Stahl then, but now she's my Mama Jeannie. This beautiful little white woman who worked with all of these Black kids across the nation said that I could do this. And I just told her in that moment, I could still see myself in her office saying, my community doesn't know about this. Like,
Mm.
people don't know about this, right? And then again, just coming from Vegas, where education has not been the highlight because of what I said earlier. You could go to the strip and start at 80 grand at 18. Who wants to go get a college education for 4 years, right? That was the comparison. And that's what all of my friends did. I literally was like the only person who went away to college out of all my friends. And in doing that, I said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's sign. And I did, Dave. And in doing so, I won that scholarship. And I learned in that moment, not only could you earn scholarships, not only were these things called grants and FAFSA and financial aid, but there was an opportunity to get paid to go to school. I took that information and I promised Mama Jeannie, my amazing Irish Catholic Mama Jeannie, who still is in 5 points, little 5 points. If anybody knows about it, she's right there. I told her I would never keep that information to myself, that I would always share it. And I would let not just my community, not just my family and friends, but anyone who would listen, let them know that debt freedom was absolutely possible. And whenever they wanted to, they could actually
Mm.
get paid to go to school. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna start
Okay,
calling you Riri, just so you know that, because you threw that in there, Riri. So I was
that's
gonna
my name. I know
scholarship
you care.
doctor, Riri, whatever. You are a life changer, and that story, it's powerful because it's rooted in truth. It's rooted in your own history. Um, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'll just tell the listeners a little bit about myself, because you and I were not necessarily of the same demographic. I'm a 43-year-old white guy, right? From Yet it wasn't until I was 42 and a half that my college debt got paid off. It I have been paying college debt for 20 some years of my life. Now, similar to you, I'm a first gen college student. Went through, got bachelor's, master's, doctorate, the whole gamut, and just kept on accruing more and more debt. Kept thinking the next degree is necessary, so I guess the debt is necessary as well. It was almost like the myth that we're told: if you want to get a new car, you have to get a new car loan. If you want to survive in society today, you've got to get a credit card. You want to go to college, everybody's going to get financial debt. And that's the lie that we keep telling people. It's interesting to me that you're on here saying, no, 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 that is not necessarily the reality of it. The reality is there is money out there to be had. Your story of sitting down, copying all the scholarships out of the book. Oh my gosh, so many flashbacks. That was me 25, 26 years ago, sitting down with my mom at the public library, going through the big, when I say big, I'm talking 6, 7 inch thick books that were just filled with scholarship opportunities, a quick little description of the scholarship, and then a mailing address. And you had to literally write them letters to say, hey, do I fit? And there were scholarships for everything. There were scholarships for people that were right-handed or left-handed, people that could jump 6 inches, people that could jump 60 inches, like you name it. There were scholarships out there, but it was only for the people that knew to go pick up the binder and dig in and start reading about it, that those scholarships were available.
Yes.
I was lazy. I was lazy. I went to the library once, sat down with my mom and said, this is stupid. It's easier to sign my name to say I'm going to take loans. You had a little bit more of a work ethic, it sounds like, because you found the money, you found the sweet spot.
I did.
Why do you feel today, a couple of decades after those experiences, yours and mine,
Yeah.
why are students still falling for the trap or the lie, saying you got to go into debt? It's just a reality.
No, honestly, Dave, people do not know. They don't understand what's available to them. I just had a very recent conversation about this, but the reality is there's $50 billion in grants and scholarships available in the US alone every single year.
Now
50
you
billion
said billion with a B.
with a B.
That's a lot of money.
It
Okay.
is a ton of money.
So 1 billion is 1,000 million, right? So 50 billion.
Billion.
Got it. Okay.
Every year, not over the lifetime, not since we were in school. Every year, $50 billion is available. However, only 3 billion go claimed. So that means $47 billion between financial aid, between people not applying for scholarships that go awry. They just are
Wow.
wasted. And it's the myth is, especially one, that you should wait or have to wait until senior year in order to earn scholarships. And two, once you've passed that time, that there's not money available. I've never looked back since that moment in the office with my mentor. I've never looked back. Every degree that I've earned or worked on since that time, I not just earned a fellowship, which is money, a scholarship for graduate school. Not only have I earned a fellowship, I've actually been on salary. I've been paid to go to school. And about 60% of the families that I'm blessed to work with, that is their story. That's their narrative. And the thing that's been such a blessing is everything that I learned, thank God, I've been able to share with people and say, you don't have to walk in my footsteps. You never have to understand what a student loan application is about. And when they take the tools, the tips, the tricks, techniques, and tactics, I have person after person who'll never be in debt. And
Mm.
so it's available to anyone. But I'm hoping if everyone and no one listens to anything else, you're like, oh, we're not going to listen to that. I want you to hear this one theme. Wherever you are, your stage in life, whatever academic level you are, ethnic background, social, economic, does not matter. You can start the scholarship process today, and you can do one of two things: work towards debt freedom and never ever knowing what a student loan is about, or doing what I was blessed to do, using over $300,000 in scholarships to not only pay for my education and get paid to go to school, but to pay back student loans outside of things from my everyday paycheck. It
Mm.
is absolutely possible. You and yours can do it. And there's no reason to delay. It's never, ever too late. It's never too early, but it's never too late. And you and yours can have a debt free college experience.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
powerful. Yeah, I think it's important for people to recognize that getting student loans, it's not a rite of passage. It's not like, when you're 16 you get your driver's license, 18 you can vote. Hey, when you're 22 you start paying off your financial aid or your student loans. That it does not have to be that way. Now I was talking to Madison again. Madison, if you're listening, I'm about to share a family secret here, so I apologize. But we were talking just this past weekend. Madison is going to be a senior this year, and she's trying to figure out where to go to college and where to go to school. And
Yeah.
again, looking at the cost of tuition and looking at the number of loans she's going to have to take out, I asked her about taking a gap year. I said, why do you feel the need to go to school right now if
Mm.
you don't have the money for it? And I asked her, I said, hypothetically, next year, so after your senior year when you graduate, hypothetically, you took a year off of going to school, and I just gave you a credit card and said, next year, I just want you to live on this credit card for a year. All of your bills are going to go on this credit card. Your rent is going to go on the credit card, and all of your entertainment's going to go on the credit card. Everything that you do for a year is going to go on a credit card, but you're going to have to pay it back. Would that be a wise financial move? And she looked at me and said, no, that would be the stupidest thing ever. And I said, okay, but you're going to go to college and do the exact same thing,
Mhm.
because that's what a student loan is. A student loan is a credit card with the US government
Mhm.
that you cannot file bankruptcy on, that you cannot get rid of, that they will chase you down until the day you die to get their
Yeah.
money back on. It's the exact same concept.
Yeah.
Because like me, when I was 17 years old and I started going to college, I was ignorant. I had no idea what I was doing. I signed my name and thought it was free money. I
Right.
would get my student loan check, and I'd pay my room and board. I'd pay for my textbooks. I'd pay for my classes, and I would pay for a whole lot of other things with
Right.
my extra money, because it was just free money. And then I would go downstairs to the lobby in the dorm, and I'd sign up for every single credit card I could get too, because they were passing out free swag and free 2 liters of Coke
Right.
for every credit card. Like, debt was just following me around everywhere because I was naive and ignorant, and I
Right.
didn't know any better.
Right.
So you're telling me right now, as I look at you, Rhea, that my niece and my 4 kids that I have in my house do
Mhm.
not have to take out student loans to go to college.
Not only do they not have to take out student loans, they can literally have $0 that they have to pay to a college. And depending on how hard you and they and their other parents and sheroes and heroes and mentors in their life want to work, because it is work, Dave. This is not a walk in the park. So that does have to be clear.
So hold on,
It
you're
does
saying
take
I
work.
have to work to actually make money.
You
Well,
have
that's
to work.
mind blowing for a lot of people right there. But okay, so I'll actually have to do some work to get some money. Seems like a fair
You'd be
proposition.
surprised. Some people
Yeah.
miss that step.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is work. So I don't want to try to,
Okay.
sugarcoat that. But in my opinion, I don't want to say it's the easiest work, but it's definitely simple. And when you think about it takes approximately 5 hours, I tell people to invest 5 hours in an application. This is really even maybe the first and second time of doing an application, but let's just say it takes 5 hours to do an application. And the scholarship is, some of my kids will tell me, it makes me funny. The adults never say this, but the kids will say, it's only $500. Okay, you worked for 5 hours and you're getting paid $100 an hour. You just ask around to people at their jobs and say, how much money do you make an hour? Do you make $100 an hour? I said, you're going to find out that very, very few people can affirm that they make anywhere near that amount of money. And so $500, we know, is not going to take care of any type of college education, right? Barely will take care of a book. But the thing that's so awesome is we believe in 5 good essays. So you could write 5 essays. And after you have been this author and this creative voice and this person who's like, oh my gosh, I did another essay and I'm at essay number 3 and you're asking me for 2 more, you then become an environmentalist. So it's all about reducing, reusing, and recycling. So you may have written those 5 good essays and maybe even at $500 a piece. But when you can do that over and over and over again to the tune of $47 billion, that 5 hours starts to become minute minutes. And I promise you, even when they're 16 and 17, sometimes it takes a second when they're like, but I wanted to work at Hot Dog on a Stick or Shoe Palace, Wendy's, or fill in the blank. They're like, wait a minute, or I could do this and now just fill out my name and use that same essay that I worked 5 hours on and get another $500.
Wow.
Part-time job, we'll just do this.
And you're teaching a life skill there too, on so many levels. I'm thinking about just what I do. So I have multiple full-time jobs, right? One of my full-time jobs, I don't know if you know this, I'm actually a college professor, right? Which is interesting, and I'm probably gonna get fired for saying this, but it's such a racket. You talk about the textbooks. You know why a textbook for a college class costs $150? Because it can. Because it can. Because kids are paying for it off of the stuff that we're talking about. So a publisher would be stupid to say, hey, you can get it for $10 if they can charge $150 for the same book. That's why. So same thing with tuition rates, and there's a whole lot into that. But some of the other work I do is I do coaching and consulting. And I remember the first time I did a presentation and got paid for it. I was offered $500 to go speak, ironically, for about 5 hours. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because I did that calculation and thought, I'm getting paid $100 an hour to do a presentation. Now, that was 12 years ago.
Wow.
Let me tell you how many times I have recycled that presentation for a lot more than what that that one school paid me to do. A lot. But that is life. It's what lawyers do as well. When a lawyer is going to win a case, they're thinking through the previous cases they've tried. They're thinking about the arguments they've used in the past, and they are recycling. It's what a doctor does when they sit down at the operating table. They think through the last operation they performed in a similar fashion and what techniques and skills were required. It's what a basketball player does when they step up to the free throw line. That is a life skill. You perfect an art, and then you just reuse the snot out of it.
Environmentalists, right?
Boom. There you go. Love it.
Recycle. And it's so empowering, right? When that light comes on, especially when I'm working and privileged again to work with young people, and they're like, oh, and they'll talk to their parents and say, I think I'll just work on scholarships. And they literally, and we say, treat it like a class, treat it like a job. And they do that. It's not that a whole lot of time has to go into it, but time does have to go into it, right? It's not that a whole bunch has to go into it, but things have to go into it. I mean, there are other people who are competing for scholarships, but I honestly, Dave, believe there's not a single soul who needs to pay for school. There's so much money. My family gave away a scholarship. We have a scholarship. You know, we believe in sowing in the same way that we believe in reaping. But with that, my mom turns to me because we probably had it out for about 2 months. No takers, literally. I have a radio show and I'm having it there, pretty active on social media, like, hey guys, come on, this is free money. For real, real. You don't have to pay it back. And she was just so concerned and confused on why. And I said, Mom, I think one thing is the intimidation and trepidation that comes with it, right? People don't understand. They're like, what is the expectation? And thankfully, we're able to walk people through that. But honestly, y'all, sometimes it's just about, I mean, it's wonderful to work with professionals whenever you can, but sometimes it's just about the try.
Mm.
And what ended up happening is, thank God we got 12 applications. Of the 12, 9 were not eligible. 3 of them, which we were giving away 3 scholarships, they won by just automatically applying. I mean,
Wow.
we haven't even looked at the information and they're winners. And so can I tell you a great story?
Yeah, please do. Another one?
Funny though. Oh my gosh. I'm cracking myself up. My dad used to laugh at his own jokes. It's like, Daddy, we have no idea what you're going to say. Please stop laughing before you get to it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm on my doctoral program at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Woo-hoo! And there's this scholarship, Dave, that comes along. Again, I am a scholarship. Now, this is my thing, right? This is my game. I get paid to go to school, so I am always on the lookout for the Munty Hunty, right? So this scholarship comes out and it says OCA. Oh, OCA. Okay, what is OCA? Well, it was the Organization of Chinese Americans. Okay, the Organization of Chinese Americans. No worries. So I read through everything, very important. I tell this, I teach this. Scholarships, they're not mysteries. They're not going to say, boom, at the end. They're going to tell you step by step what they need and want. It's work, but they will tell you. And if you highlight or check as you go through that, you increase your chances as long as you get every step filled. So I'm looking through everything and I'm seeing, okay, you need to be a student, graduate or undergraduate, attending a school in the Clark County area. Okay, that's me. Oh, this is me, Dave. I'm like, okay, let's apply. It asked this great question, which I don't even remember, and it was pretty advanced, but it was fun. So I went ahead, I applied, I put my best effort in, transcript, letters of rec, everything that they asked for. So anyway, I get the notification that the OCA, the Organization of Chinese Americans, is having an amazing banquet to celebrate and announce their scholarship winners. And I was welcome to attend, and I'm one of the winners, right? I'm super stoked about this. And so I march up to the registration table, and there's these beautiful Asian faces. Anyone and everyone belongs who are of Asian descent. Not too many brown people, but that's okay. I'm up there. And so they're doing their registration and signing in. And there, when you do the, hey, can I get your name? They could feel my mom and I were there. And I said, Rhea. And they look up and say, you're Rhea? Hey, wow, you're Rhea. I am she. Yes. Okay, Rhea, you're at table 12. Great. I'm still excited. They're so welcoming. Great speakers, great everything. Now it's time to announce the scholarship. Now I knew that they were giving first, second, and third away. I did not know what I had won. It was just, these are the people. So they are announcing third place goes to this amazing student of Asian descent. Second place goes to this amazing student of Asian descent. And first place goes to Rhea Michelle Watson. Woo! So I jump up, go on stage as everyone's clapping with a little bit of surprise because, of course, we are the only African American folks in the Organization of Chinese Americans.
That is epic.
Oh, right. Hilarious. The most welcoming, amazing, still friends to this day, folk. But I was just so excited. And then this is what happens, Dave, which was so incredible to me. So this story has 2 parts. One that was just, again, and what happened was they completely judged, I found out later, everything was blind. So the judges only received the information, specifically the essay, no names, no nothing. So they had no idea. And I don't think their application asked about ethnic background. But anyway, I said, thank you. I was able to give my moons and move on. They gave cash right then and there. It went to a check to me and all the other
Those are
winners.
the best scholarships
Isn't
around
that
right
great?
there.
$1,500 for about 1.5 hours of my time, right? But then this is what happens. They said, we do this scholarship every year, which I hadn't found it before this. We're excited about the opportunity, but we only had 4 people to apply. And they gave out 3. We knew that, right? First, second, and third. We only had 4 people to apply. So we invited the 4th place winner here and gave him money as well. You never ever know until you try, right? Do you care if you're the only 1, 2, 3, or 4 people to apply? I tell people, don't get caught up into that. Take the money and go and do what you need to do to fulfill your dreams. And I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I am a business owner. I love what I do, and I'm able to see it into people's lives. And so people say, well, Rhea, I want to be an entrepreneur. Great, do that. Use this as another stream of income. If you're really an entrepreneur, you're always thinking about additional streams of income. And if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, maybe you're 70, 80, or 90 years old, and you have the opportunity to go and pursue something on someone else's dime, we call it OPM, other people's money, and you can get paid. Use that to fund your businesses and your passion projects and those things that you wanted to do maybe in another country or neighborhood, or if you wanted to purchase a vehicle and you're at an institution where you can pay for your education and do other things with the funding. Do it, do it, do it, right? Now, the funny thing is, Dave, with this OCA, right, Organization of Chinese Americans, I was so excited about the next year. I was like, I am going to be able to apply and get this 1,500, 1,500, or even the $50 they gave to the kid because he applied. And I went to the directions and it said, if you are of Asian American descent,
That's awesome. But you got in before the application changed. So there you go. I love it.
So I've never been able to apply ever since then, but I've had wonderful Asian students to be able to do so.
Oh, that's a great
Thank you for
story.
letting me share that.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you did. That's great. That's great. So talk to me real quick, if you don't mind.
No,
Doctor me up. So I'm a father of 4 kids, ages 5, 8, 10, and 15, right?
Ooh,
Busy,
nice.
busy, busy, but lots of anxiety creeping in about this topic.
Yeah.
Where do I begin? What is my first step? Do I need to just take a trip to the library and start digging through the binders, or is there more to it than that?
There's so many wonderful resources on finding scholarships. I'll give you some of my favorite websites. Is that okay? They're not anyone that I endorse or anything like that. It's just some ones that I feel when people, especially when you just ask that question, are saying, where and how do I start? I want to do this today. I want to make it a part of my curriculum, right? We want to avoid the summer meltdown. July is, anti-boredom month. This is a great time to start that process. So there are some wonderful websites like bold.org. Okay, bold.org. One reason that I love Bold, now it is a little bit competitive, I'll tell you, because traditionally there's kind of 1 or 2 scholarships for the whole world. But what I love is that there are, again, those people who have, I use that term already, that's why I'm saying again, passion projects. So it's someone who's kind of said, I've wanted to do this to help people who were like me, or to memorialize a family member, or because I thought if I had something like this, maybe I could get a little bit step further. So a lot of times they don't have a lot of money, but they feel like it's somewhere that they can start. So the challenge could be with Bold is that it's $500 for one student and a lot of people applying. But there's lots and lots of $500 scholarships that are on Bold that I think can be open to anyone and everyone. I love that they don't make it really challenging. Again, they're really people's passion projects from their heart. So they kind of want to hear your passion in your heart. And I just think it's a fantastic organization that, again, are allowing everyday Joes and Joezettes to be able to start their scholarship process not just those who are applying, but those who want to give. So I love bold.org. Is that okay?
Oh, that's great. And bold.org is thinking they just capitalized on your whole OPM. They just got a free ad right now from you. So that's all good. So
No kickbacks, no
no,
nothing.
no,
This
it's
is
all
a
good.
really great
So
site.
now is that something I wait and start looking at once my oldest is a junior or senior, or is this something I need to be doing right now? I know you said from womb to tomb.
That's right.
When does the process officially begin?
Right now, wherever you are. I really mean it. I just wrote a book chapter that was called College Prep in Kindergarten. My nephew is amazing. Maybe every auntie says that. So he's amazing. He just turned 6 and he has applied, Dave, for about 35 college scholarships. He has secured at least 20. We're thinking about 21. We haven't done what we're supposed to do. We track our scholarships, but just, really about 21 scholarships. And just in this year, we're already like month 7 almost, right? He has earned $4,000 in college scholarships and grants. So it is never too early, guys. It really isn't. It's never too late. I've been blessed to work with a 90-year-old World War II vet. He went to college for 60 years, older than I think at my time than my parents, or just about. As old as my parents were he had been in college that long, serving our country. Now I'm gonna cry every time because he never gave up. And he blessed me to allow him to participate in his academic and scholarship process. I will never, ever take it for granted. But for 60 years, this gentleman went to college.
Wow.
Went to World War II, took classes, Korean War, Vietnam. He did every war, which I'm not a historian in that regard, but I remember those wars that he talked to me about, every one of them. I know Desert Storm, he didn't do those, but up until that time, every single war for our country he served in. And when he would come home to his family, he would also be attending college. Well, he and his wife, for 30 years, had been volunteer Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus. And Dave, we were able to help him restart his college career again after 60 years and to find 8 scholarships for volunteer Santas.
Wow.
Mhm. That's incredible to me, right? So when I said earlier, I don't care who you are, where you are, you can start today in your process for applying for, reaching for scholarships. Now I know that Papa and my nephew, right? They are polarized people, right? Actually, my nephew applied for his first scholarship when he was 4 months old. We didn't win, okay? Even with the built-in scholarship doctor as auntie, he didn't win. He applied again at about 1 year old. He didn't win. Year and a half, he didn't win. But at 2 years old, he won his first college scholarship. And he hasn't won every time, but he's won every-ish time since then, right? So everything that we've applied for, we haven't won, but he absolutely applies. It's a part of what he does. He doesn't know anything differently. So no matter how young or young at heart you are, you can start debt freedom, y'all. I mean, it's really possible. And again, we do it. I mean, again, he has a built-in auntie and scholarship doctor, and we'll look up and miss a date, right? So we'll be one of those people who contributed to the 47 billion left on the table, right? So there's plenty of money for everyone. You can do it starting today, wherever you are. It's never too late. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's absolutely doable. And I just say, keep doing it and doing it until you perfect it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not saying that. But there will be a time when you say, oh, okay, this is the combination. And then you just become an environmentalist. You reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Wow. 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 I feel like you've just changed the narrative for so many people. When you say it's just what you do, you just get yourself into the routine and you just get used to thinking, I am not going to pay for that. I'll do the work now so I don't have to pay later on. Because so many people feel like if they go and get the college degree, that it's going to change their destiny. And that it's a step. But if you get the college degree and you're riddled with debt that is going to take you a generation to pay off, you haven't done anything.
It's
You,
not
you
fun.
get yourself that degree debt free and change your life. I love that. I love that, Rhea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rhea, if people are listening to this, if there are teachers out there listening, if there are parents listening and they're saying, I'm going to start educating the kids that I'm in contact with, the
Mhm,
families that I surround myself with, I
mhm.
want them to find out what this is all about. How do people get connected with the Scholarship Doctor?
Oh, thank you. So we're everywhere, y'all. So I have a website, traditional. I guess it's not funny that I say that now. Website is more traditional. But maybe you're that website family or person. You can go to myscholarshipsolutions.com. So that's my singular, scholarship singular, solutions plural, myscholarshipsolutions.com. And then we're on all social media platforms, including TikTok, so the kids can tune in on TikTok. So TikTok, Clubhouse, if y'all aren't rocking Clubhouse, you should. It's a great place and platform. Instagram, Snapchat, we're still there, and Twitter at Scholarship DR, that's Scholarship Doctor. And then LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube is Scholarship Solutions. So if you put my name in, any combination of that, normally like, oh, okay, you're there. And we have so many resources, always have scholarships. Right now, what's trending huge is a checklist for going to college, including becoming an RA, a built-in scholarship, working for student government, a built-in scholarship, going to graduate school. I know, Dave, I'm like doing more, but I want to encourage them. You know what, guys? It pays to go to graduate school. So do it, do it, do it. But there's a checklist on there right now, and you can just, again, highlight and check out if you get those things done. There's tons of ways for you to go to college for free.
Awesome. And for those of you that are willing to do the work, check the show notes because all that stuff will be in the show notes. For those of you that are like, I don't do show notes, it takes me 2 extra seconds. You're probably the one with the financial aid debt too, because you didn't apply for the scholarship. So do the work, look at the show notes, and connect with Rhea, the scholarship doctor, the entire team. And if your life isn't going to be changed by this, change somebody else's. Find
Oh,
somebody else that you love, that you want to support, and point them in the right direction. Change their destiny debt free. Rhea, you are absolutely amazing. I am so glad we were able to pull this off and have this conversation. I feel personally like you just changed my kids' lives. And I feel like professionally, you just changed the lives of so many others out there. So thank you for taking time out of your busy, busy schedule to hang out with me today.
thank you. This has been a pleasure. You are a blessing. I'm looking forward to us doing more. I'm looking forward to your listeners saying, we went and applied for scholarships. Just do it, guys. I look forward to hearing the testimonials. I always love when someone says, again, I saw you on IG, Read. I saw that scholarship. I applied. I won. I don't even care if people win. It will come. I just love when they put the action to it. So y'all just go do it. It's possible. And I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Awesome. And let me know, people. Send those testimonials our way. We'll make sure that Rhea gets to see them and sees how your life was changed.